Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many different revelations that will lead to saga-wide implications in this story by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film is going to be a very emotional film as well as a very action-packed movie by director J.J. Abrams and, of course, creator George Lucas, and exactly what they're aiming to do in order to really make this film stand out on its own, away from both The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Now, on top of all of this, I believe it's pretty safe to say that by far one of the more interesting aspects of this movie is, of course, the interactions between both Rey and Kylo Ren and how that's going to be utilized at the very end of this film within the third act. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, shot descriptions consisting of a sequence based in the third act of the film, where it's explained that one of the scenes is described to involve a moment in which Rey is fighting Palpatine with her lightsaber while Kylo Ren is in a force freeze state, where it's described that eventually Palpatine is able to perform a sneak attack behind Rey where he is able to stab Rey in the back, where Rey is described to fall down to the ground. It's said to be a moment in which Kylo Ren runs over to Rey's aid, where she is said to be unconscious from the attack by Palpatine. It's described that JJ and George Lucas filmed 3 different versions of Rey's critical injury from Palpatine, where this one is said to be considered for the third act of the film and the finalized version of the movie. The sequence is said to involve a moment in which Kylo Ren holds Rey in his arms and begins to shed a couple of tears as Palpatine laughs in the background, where he is said to taunt Kylo Ren, stating that Kylo now has no temptation toward the light and the dark. And that with all that being said, Palpatine begins to fulfill his destiny and his role to the dark side of the Force by embracing a power stronger than the dark side. It's described that this is where the lecture between both Kylo and Palpatine begins, where Palpatine tries to convince Kylo to learn the secrets of a power greater than the dark side itself that holds a connection to the beyond. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9, at the end of the day, is going to be a film that's going to take a lot of different risks by Disney and Lucasfilm, as well as introducing new aspects of the franchise that we have never seen before on the big screen. Now, this by far is the biggest hint of Rey's death in Episode 9 and exactly what's going to happen to this character. However, we do know that another scene that was shot involved Kylo Ren resting his hands on her forehead after she gets stabbed by, of course, Palpatine using his single-bladed lightsaber during this major battle at the very end of the movie. So, with that being said, it's very much a parallel to what happened between, Padme and Kenobi, where Kenobi places his hand on Padme, and when, of course, Palpatine places his hand on Anakin Skywalker. If I really had to give my 2 cents on this, I would say that this is a gotcha moment where they're going to make us believe that Rey is dead at this point in time, where out of nowhere, Kylo Ren is going to somehow make her come back alive, or come back to life, I should say, and regain consciousness or something around those lines. So, with that being said, Rey is actually said to have a one-on-one duel against Palpatine that ends with a major injury just like this. Now, we do know that this film is going to feature resurrection for around 3 different characters in Episode 9, and that George Lucas came up with the idea of using the concept of resurrection in The Rise of Skywalker as a way to give us a different medium of the Star Wars franchise. In case you guys did not know, there are different types of aspects of the Star Wars franchise that are actually going to be a part of this movie, such as the Wills, the Netherworld of the Force, Sith Wraiths, and of course the use of resurrection. So, a lot of fans have mixed reactions on these uses in, of course, Episode 9, and whether or not it's really a good thing to do for the direction by Disney and Lucasfilm. Now, myself, I think that when we look at resurrection, I think it's a good idea, as long as it's done perfectly and it's written well and executed very well on the big screen, and it's really going to stand out as a masterpiece within the third act of Episode 9. So, with that being said, we do know that they filmed 3 different scenes where Rey gains a critical injury by Palpatine, and that they are now considering to use this one for the final version of Episode 9, of the actual Episode 9 cut itself. So, with that being said, This film really does have a lot going for itself. This sounds like a very emotional scene. The fact that Kylo Ren sheds a couple of tears as this happens, you can only imagine what it's going to look like on the big screen, because I will admit, Adam Driver is a great actor. I don't know if you guys watched him in any other films out there besides Star Wars, but I think he's a fantastic actor in some of the other movies that he has been in, and to have him in an emotional state like this, I think is really going to hit the fans' hearts, and it's really going to make it stand out as one of the most emotional scenes in the sequel trilogy, hands down, without a doubt. I will say that. So anyways guys, drop a comment below, let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to